What's up, Yins? This week on Car Dad Bill, we have the 2022 Volkswagen Tiguan SEL R-Line model. Tiguan's the best-selling Volkswagen in the United States. This is definitely an awesome little SUV with the 2-liter turbo engine, all-wheel drive, 4Motion. Subscribe to the channel, please. Like it, smash the button, tell your friends. Let's go. Alright guys, first impressions of the Tiguan. I've had a bunch of these models over the years. I mean, I'd go as far back as 2010, I think, is when I had the first one. But these are great little SUVs. They feel like the GTI of SUV worlds. They're tight, they have good acceleration, great handling, great styling. Now the updated looks that you get with the R-Line SEL model that we have here right now with the black and white trim. Very sharp, large wheels, nice interior, good sound system, great handling. There's a lot to like about the Volkswagen Tiguan, and this newest model proves that over and over again. But let's get to the new review. Alright, Ian, standing outside the Volkswagen Tiguan R-Line, and first thing you're going to notice about this R-Line is all of the aggressive front grille, lighting, wheels, side sills, the R-Line badge up top there, the black and white tuxedo package, the LEDs in the front, just awesome all around in the front. Look at those lights, really bright at night. We got the R-Line badging on the side with the R-Line badging in the back as well. Just really sharp lines, clean exterior, very straight down the back. The lights wrap around a little bit. We have the fake dual exhaust coming out the back. The 4Motion logo back here for the all-wheel drive. It really, to me, it looks like a smaller version of the Q7 from Audi. It has the same kind of lines, same kind of, this line here, and then this line here is the same as the Q7. But this is obviously a smaller SUV. Nice 20-inch wheels. Love the wheel design on that. But overall, not a bad exterior. Let's jump in. All right, guys, let's fire it up. Button down there. Brings up all your screens. And what's cool about this is all digital, but then you have static heat or temperature gauge, and then your fuel gauge is static on the side as well. So you can toggle through the menus and do whatever you got to do to change things up, to make it look how you want it to look. Look at how clean and elegant the steering wheel is, how the dash has a nice line to it. It's kind of broken up. We have like the driver's cockpit area up here, and then it drops down to the passenger side. The Fender audio system, which is updated for this model year, and it's fantastic. Look at the leather seats. Coming down to the gear selector, we have our drive mode selector, our different weather. Then we have the parking brake, your auto stop start, and your parking functions. Little compartment down here for your charging, wireless charging. Then back there are the smaller USBs. Then you have all this touch. So this is touch. You can run up like that, or you can slide your finger down. Slide your finger up. Kind of a cool feature there. Everything's touch. Everything's touch. Same with these. You can hold it to go down to low, or you can hold it to go up to high, or you can swipe to get it where you want it to be. Same thing up here. This is a touch screen up here as well. When you bring your finger away from the monitor, things go away. When you bring your finger close to the monitor, it changes up for you. When you go to radio, and I want to kind of see if I want to try to do this with you guys to see if you can see it. So see how I'm just swiping across the screen and it's showing me the presets? That's what that down there, I mean, that's that gesture control. I don't know really what you would use it for outside of something gimmicky like this, but it's there. Again, everything up here is touch. Everything over here is touch. Normal buttons on the side. Storage compartment, there's your trunk release, your headlights, your fender audio system. Let's check out the back seat and see how that looks. All right, Ian's back seat. And I left Anna's seat in here so you can see the size back here. It's not bad. Static. Look at these seat belts. You can hide them, or you can bring them up, and then they're static. So she can buckle herself in there really well. There's some charging down there, a little bit of storage, and then your venting. But not a bad back seat. That's where my normal seat position is. So you see there's a good amount of space there. And then, you know, 5-passenger vehicle offers a good amount of trunk space as well in the Tiguan. This is not bad. I had 2 hockey bags in here. I have my golf bag in here. I think that was it. Some baseball stuff in here, but it's really a large compartment. There's your Fender audio system. There's the subwoofer, the additional subwoofer. Look at that thing inside there, and it cranks. It really does. It cranks real nice. These are to help you fold the seats down on both sides. Not a bad interior, not a bad trunk space. Let's get on. All right, guys, before we get on the road real quick, I want to go over some numbers. 2022 Volkswagen Tiguan SEL R-Line, 2-liter turbo, 8-speed automatic that produces 184 horsepower, 221 pound-feet of torque, which is a decent amount of torque coming out of this little engine. I average 24.5 miles per gallon. That's what Volkswagen says this model should average, around 24 miles per gallon, so it's not terrible. Again, this is the best-selling SUV or best-selling Volkswagen that they make. The 4Motion Tiguans start at $27,900. So with all the options that this one has, I would roughly guess, and I am guessing because I don't have the Monroney for this particular car, at $27,900 to start, with the Fender audio system, with the leather seats, with the SEL trim, with all of that, I would bet you we're in the $35,000 range, which is not terrible for a fully loaded Tiguan of this size with all of this stuff in it. Not bad. Let's get on the road though, and let's talk about the good and the bad. There's not a whole lot of bad, but I want to go over that real quick and we'll wrap this video up. All right, guys, the good and the bad, right? Let's start off with the good. And number one thing on my list is are the looks. The exterior design, the interior design, the overall package of the Tiguan now is super sharp. It's never been a bad looking SUV, but this newest model with the addition of the LED headlights, the side skirts, the front fascia, the wheel design, and how everything, the R-Line's always been a great looking lineup for Volkswagen, whether it's on the Passat, the CC, the Tiguan, whatever it's on, even on the bigger Atlas. The R-Line always looks sharp, always presents itself well. No different here in the Tiguan. Second thing, size. Not a bad size SUV. In fact, it's a little bit bigger than normal 5-passenger mid-size SUVs go, small SUVs go. So this one's right along on par with everybody else. I feel like it's a nice size. You're able to still park it easy. You're able to still wind it through back roads and city streets with ease, even with having, you know, it full of passengers. Third thing is the driving dynamics. Now, the driving dynamics on this Tiguan are very tight, very smooth, very refined. Driving dynamics, like I was saying, very refined, very hair trigger. So as soon as you turn the wheel, as soon as you step on the gas, as soon as you step on the brake, it's acting like it should, and it just has a good feedback, good feel to it overall. And the stereo. Last thing on my good list is the stereo. You can't beat a good stereo system. Fender upgraded their stereo system. They put some bass subwoofers in the front. They put a subwoofer in the trunk where the wheel is, I showed you earlier. So it fills the cabin with sound, fills the cabin with bass. Even at lower, when you're at like low to mid volume range, you can really hear all the different types of speakers that are in this vehicle. And then when you crank it up, it has a great bass note, great note overall. And you have to round a good vehicle out with a good stereo, and the Volkswagen Tiguan does. Let's get to the bad list. Guys, not a whole lot of stuff. Two things stand out though. Number one, it's kind of a rougher ride. You have the thin tires, you have the big wheels, so you're gonna have a little bit of a rougher ride. My dad noticed it right away that it has a rougher ride than his Subaru, so I had to put that down in my notes as, you know, having a little bit of a rougher ride. Might not be for the older folks. Second thing on my list that my wife figured out when she took it for a little bit of a ride, but I noticed it early on, and you notice it with these transmissions that come in these German vehicles, but this transmission, it's not sluggish per se, it's just different. So when you're starting out from a stop, and say you're pulling out of a parking lot into traffic, you see the car coming down the road, you got to step on the gas a little bit earlier than normal, because it acts as a manual transmission in that regard. That has a little bit of a clutch slip, a clutch actuation, if you will, and it pulls away as a manual transmission would, even though it's an automatic. So it takes some getting used to. It's not a terrible thing. It's not a deal breaker as far as I can't live with this, I don't want this car anymore kind of thing. It's more of a annoyance, and you have to learn how to manipulate the throttle correctly so that you don't have that lag of power. Now, you can switch it to sport mode as well. That's another way to kind of go around that. Now, I just pulled out of a stoplight. If you're aggressive with the throttle, you don't necessarily notice that hiccup in the transmission, but it's definitely noticeable as you're driving and you're pulling in and out of parking lots, or you're coming out of a parking spot, or you're going down an alleyway or something like that. You kind of notice that it kind of hesitates a little bit. So those are my two things on the good and bad list. Let's wrap this. Guys, let's wrap this one up. For Car Dad Build this week, 2022 Volkswagen Tiguan SEL R-Line 4Motion. I give it a thumbs up based on the style, the R-Line trim, the turbo engine, great steering dynamics, good looks overall. It's got the whole package, and it gets over 20 miles per gallon on average, so you can't beat that. That's the Car Dad Build this week. Real cars for real people, for real life. Please subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys next week.